Welcome back to Cosmic Comics, and here we are at Contest of Champions, Volume 1, published in 1982. This limited series marks the return of the Grandmaster and follows up on the repercussions of the events in Avengers Volume 1, issue number 174. The Collector has died at the hand of Korvak, and now the Grandmaster plays games with death for the ability to bring his fellow Elder back. In so many ways, this series feels like the precursor to Secret Wars, like a test run on the concept, but let's get going. In the beginning, the Grandmaster meets with a robed being, and they both agree to hold a contest whereby the pawns will be taken from Earth. We aren't supposed to know 100% that this is death, but it's death. And to add to that vibe, the robed one lets us know that the stakes are life and death. Death, as is classically portrayed in Marvel Comics, was introduced in Captain Marvel Volume 1, issue number 26, published in 1973. Death has continued to appear in other Marvel comics in the meantime, but Contest of Champions is the first time she gets center stage at such a high-profile event and essentially cements her place in the Marvel Universe well beyond her role at Thanos' side. Furthermore, this series solidifies the look of death within the Marvel Universe. Henceforth, with reasonable exceptions, across Marvel we are greeted by Lady Death. Open Chapter 1. The Avengers are all working out at their gym when the Beast challenges the rest of the Avengers to go 6-on-1. Before we can see the outcome, all of our heroes disappear into the fabric of space. The Soviet super soldiers were nearly successful in apprehending the Red Ghost until the four of them were zapped away. The Fantastic Four were attending an honorary dinner as special guests when they suddenly disappear from their table. Alpha Flight are relaxing in their ship on their way home, and suddenly they are all gone. The X-Men are training in the Danger Room, and guess what? They disappear. Power Man and Iron Fist disappear. Spider-Man disappears. Dazzler, Hellcat, and somebody else there disappears. Daredevil and Moon Knight disappear. Quasar and Shanna, the She-Devil, disappear. Doctor Strange and Devil Slayer disappear. Spider-Woman disappears. Machine Man disappears. Jack of Hearts and Quasar are hanging out together. From this panel we learn that Quasar is still working as head of security at Project Pegasus, and that he's had an opportunity to run energy tests on Jack of Hearts. Both heroes disappear. The Hulk and Samson disappear mid-battle. The Eternals all disappear. We're then shown the range of powers encompassed by this culling. The supernatural, such as the Son of Satan. The mythological, such as Thor. Those of exceptional ability, such as Red Wolf. The flamboyant, such as Atomic Samurai of Japan, Sunfire. Captain Britain, and Black Knight. Now here's one that most people probably don't know, that the Inhumans, as soon as they braved their very first visit to Earth, they are immediately swept away and pulled into Contest of Champions. 6 of these next 8 characters that disappear, it's their first appearance in the pages of Marvel. In France, the Peregrine disappeared. In Australia, the Aboriginal mystic Talisman disappears. In Argentina, Defensor disappears. In Northern Ireland, a group of schoolchildren have their lives saved from a terrorist bomb right before Shamrock disappears. Whoa, that's pretty heavy, Marvel. Sabra is repelling a raiding party when the red glow takes her away. In China, the hero with the powers of 5 gifted men disappears. In Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Night disappears. Above West Germany, Blitzkrieg disappears. Out of all those, only Sabra and the Arabian Night previously exist within the pages of Marvel. Then, everybody is thrown together all at once. I'll note the quick Quasar appearance in the upper left panel. Everybody has been transported into some kind of enclosed container, and it looks like the place is filling up. This leads to some interesting interactions. Thor and Icarus coming together, Alpha Flight and Wolverine meeting up, Beast and Sasquatch giving each other a nice size-up comparison. We see enemies eyeing each other from afar. Iron Man interacting with the Soviet super soldiers. Shamrock and Captain Britain caught in a web of distrust. Iceman meets up with his former lover Darkstar. Vision, meeting somebody? Is that Isaac? I'm not sure. Colossus is asked why he doesn't serve Russia, to which he responds he better serves the motherland as an X-Men. Black Panther searches out Captain America to tell him what happened, but Captain is already attempting to discover who did this. Spider-Man and Spider-Woman are shown meeting up again. Hellstrom and Dr. Druid make an unlikely duo. The Black Knight and the Arabian Knight are comparing their mystic blades. Namor has a chance meeting with Stingray and Triton, but he really wants to converse with Doctor Strange. The Human Torch flies in, and it has to be noted that the Thing goes out of his way to introduce the Human Torch and Quasar. This is after Quasar has already attended a Christmas party with the Fantastic Four at their headquarters as Wendell Vaughn. Seeing Benjamin still looking out for Quasar is nice, as the two have been friends for a while now. The lower portion of this panel shows that Namor found his friends, and it looks like the Defenders are all hanging out together. Moondragon and Professor X determine that they are in an arena out in outer space, but neither can fathom where it came from or who is behind this. Suddenly, everybody wants to know who's behind it and why. Several of the smartest minds of their time couldn't come up with a good explanation. Suddenly a presence draws near, entering their minds all at once. The Grandmaster and Death appear as visages above them, informing them that they have been assembled to take part in a great tournament. In this moment, our heroes are frozen in place. At the same moment, the entire planet Earth is placed in suspended animation. We're told that as long as the pawns play their game, that the Earth will be freed at the game's end. The rules of the game? 4 objects. Quarters of the gleaming golden globe of life will be hidden at the 4 corners of the Earth. The Grandmaster and Death both get to choose 12 opponents to seek out the objects. Whoever amasses the most pieces wins. If the Grandmaster wins, he will be granted the power to restore life to the Creator. So, that's the crux of the biscuit. That's what this all boils down to. He then recounts how his fellow elder, the Collector, plotted against Korvak's rise to power, and upon being discovered, was slain. When the man-god Korvak died, he undid almost all the damage that led up to his death. He restored all the lives lost that day, save one. He did not restore the life of the Collector. The Grandmaster claims that even though he personally holds power over life and death, even he cannot restore the life of an immortal. This is the reason he had to make a pact with death. She is the only one who can return the Collector from her realm. Thus, the Grandmaster challenged her to a game of champions. If the Grandmaster heroes win, the Collector will be restored to life. Should Death win, the Grandmaster will be stripped of his cosmic powers and join the Collector in oblivion. To ensure that neither contestant has an unfair advantage, only those of the race Homo sapien would be included. This excludes Immortals, Inhumans, Atlanteans, Eternals, and Aliens. Which raises a really good question of, why did you bother to bring them all here then? Moving on. From there, the two teams start picking sides. The first to be chosen is Captain America by the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster swears that if his and Captain America's team wins, that he will not use Earthmen as pawns in his games again. Death allows this generous offer. Death's first choice is the Soviet superhero Vanguard. The Grandmaster's second choice is the Mystic Talisman. Death's second choice is Tony Stark. In the end, we have the following two teams. Fighting for the Grandmaster is Captain America, Talisman, Darkstar, Wolverine, Captain Britain, Defensor, Sasquatch, She-Hulk, Daredevil, The Thing, Peregrine, and Blitzkrieg. Death's team consists of Vanguard, Iron Man, Shamrock, Iron Fist, Storm, Arabian Knight, Angel, Sabra, Sue Richards, Sunfire, Black Panther, and the Collective Man. I'm sure that Marvel saw giving 6 of the 24 slots to new characters was a good thing as it introduced them to a large audience, but come on, in a big event like this with so many cool possibilities for awesome versus battles and team-ups, these characters serve as filler for what could have been an even more epic comic experience. When I look at this picture as a whole, I'm torn between how impressed I am at its diversity and how cringed I am by its stereotypes. In issue number 2 of Contest of Champions, the game begins. Alright, chapter number 2. The Grandmasters team is Sue Richards, Sunfire, and Iron Fist, and Death's team is Daredevil, Darkstar, and Talisman. They are instantly challenged with bitter cold. For Death's team, Sue suggests working together, but Sunfire flies off to locate the prize. The Iron Fist and Sue Richards make easy allies and walk off together. And amazingly, this is the most teamwork we will see for the rest of the storyline. On the Grandmaster side of the contest, Daredevil and Darkstar bond over their mutual respect for Black Widow. The third member introduces himself as Talisman, a shaman who communes with Alter Jaringa, the Dreamtime. Marvel really wants us to like this character. Darkstar flies off to run interference on Sunfire. Talisman wants to do his work alone, and Daredevil is happy to be left to his own devices. Darkstar approaches Sunfire and is met with a couple of bursts of heat. Darkstar counters with a hand made of Dark Force. For a moment, she has Sunfire pinned in place. Eventually, Sunfire lets loose a burst that is simply too great for Dark Force. This test frees the atomic mutant, and Darkstar is forced to hide behind a wall of the Dark Force. So, when it says that this frees the atomic mutant, I'm not so sure if this is an ability thing, or if this is him suddenly crossing over into some kind of new mutant ability thing. I'm not that familiar with the character Sunfire. If someone wants to let us know in the comments below, that would be awesome. Sue Richards suggests they keep an eye on Daredevil, but Iron Fist insists on walking up to duke it out. I mean, really? Really? Left on her own, Sue turns invisible and decides to attack Talisman before he sees it coming. He senses her coming and stands up at the last possible moment, but he can't see his opponent. In response, Talisman pulls out his Whirling Bull Roar, which he uses to plunge Sue into the Dreamtime. Sue fights back against the disorientation by concentrating on the ice cracking about her. The cracking ice forces Talisman to flee towards dry land, while Sue rides it out in a bubble. Iron Fist walks up to Daredevil and offers to fight. Daredevil goes in the attack before Fist can finish his bow. Fist recovers, and then Daredevil blinds him with a snowball to even the odds. Daredevil stuns Iron Fist and then takes off towards the prize as the ice begins to break up. Daredevil, capable of picking out the prize with his senses, he starts to run towards it, but his actions are noticed by both Iron Fist and Sue Richards. Both of them see the prize out on the water. Our two flyers spot their teammates closing in on the prize and both attempt to help out. Darkstar attacks Sue with energy pincers, and Sunfire dives towards the water. Talisman re-enters the scene, riding some kind of crazy Dreamtime tornado. It starts sucking everybody up. Daredevil forces himself to concentrate on what is real and what isn't, and then he uses his billy club to retrieve the prize. As soon as he has the globe portion firmly in his grasp, everybody vanishes from the Arctic. The first win is for the Grandmaster. Chapter 3 begins Ghost Town Showdown and the second contest. Death's team of Iron Man, Arabian Knight, and Sabra make for an odd team, and they are facing off against Game Master's Defensor, She-Hulk, and Captain Britain. Iron Man is immediately hit with the very real struggle of two teammates who refuse to work together. He even goes as far as to call the Arabian Knight out by asking which bothers him more, her nationality or the fact that she's a woman. The team splits up and goes 3 different directions. Iron Man is left on his own. The other team briefly considers working together, but Defensor plays up the White Knight way too heavy and scares She-Hulk off. She-Hulk then runs into the sexist Arabian Knight. She makes short work of him and then takes off after Sabra. Sabra blasts at She-Hulk with her bracelets. She-Hulk's arms and legs become paralyzed, and Sabra starts talking a big game. What Sabra lacks in physical strength, she makes up for in skill. Iron Man seems annoyed by Defensor's attack, and double annoyed when Defensor gets one good blow in by reflecting Iron Man's repulsor rays right back at him. Unfortunately, Defensor is a bit of a one-trick pony, and Iron Man takes him out. I mean, the character is so weak that you have other heroes making fun of him in their first battle. I mean, why put him in here at all? Why should the Grandmaster want to have him on his team? Sabra drops in from the air and steals Captain Britain's Star Scepter, and this ends with both of the men fighting for the Grandmaster out of the running. Iron Man zeroes in on the location of the prize, but finds She-Hulk waiting for him. Both heroes prepare to square off, and as they start, Iron Man insists that ladies go first. This enrages She-Hulk, but Iron Man easily makes her pass out from an overpowered burst of his repulsor blast. Iron Man is actually then really concerned that maybe he gave her too much juice, and while he's taking care of She-Hulk, his racist and sexist teammate is sneaking into the open oven behind him and stealing the prize. The score is now tied 1-1. Chapter 4 brings us to the third contest, where an overzealous Wolverine is ready to take out his own teammates before he's pointed towards the other team across the meadow. Wolverine, Thing, and La Peregrine are fighting for the Grandmaster, and Vanguard, Angel, and Black Panther are fighting for death. As for the first group, nobody seems to like La Peregrine, and Wolverine makes it clear he wants to strike out on his own. Vanguard takes note of their opponent's lack of discipline. Angel and Black Panther have fought on the same side before and offer up a handshake. The two do a little catching up before Vanguard suggests they get busy looking. It soon becomes apparent that both Vanguard and Black Panther aren't going to get along. In the end, these three split up as well. Black Panther comes upon a city of the dead. While he's there, he's attacked by Wolverine, who is itching for a fight, and he ends up flashing his claws. The Black Panther stays ahead of the curve, but Wolverine is clearly the one who is in charge of this fight. Up in the sky, Angel and Peregrine are fighting it out, and Peregrine appears to be winning the early rounds. Angel follows this up by searching out a walking stick and then locating his enemy once more. Angel lures Peregrine in, and then he uses his bar to choke Peregrine out. As the two of them tumble, Peregrine wraps his legs around Angel. Angel then stops choking his enemy and starts bashing his head in with the bar. And once they are both on the ground, Angel claims to have won this round. The third battle kicks off on a hill used to overlook the area. Here the Thing faces off against an enemy that can turn his own aggressive force back against him. Somehow Ben manages to disarm Vanguard and dispatches of him by following up with a hefty punch. Ben finds Wolverine and Black Panther wrestling in the city of the dead. Both Wolverine and Black Panther claim to have won their battle. The Thing serves as an arbitrator between the two, and conflict is averted for the moment. It's at that moment that both Wolverine and Black Panther catch the scent of something. Ben is told exactly where to dig, seemingly by the Black Panther who is on the other team, and sure enough, Ben digs there and another quarter globe. When you see a team with Wolverine and the Thing on the same side, that's the team that's going to win. The Grandmaster is now up 2-1. The fourth and final contest takes place in the jungle. Death has Storm, Shamrock, and the Collective Man, while the Grandmaster has Sasquatch, Captain America, and Blitzkrieg. Once again, we don't see much teamwork with Captain America, Blitzkrieg, and Sasquatch separating almost right away. Thanks to the Collective Man, the other team potentially has more members. They decide it's best to split up and cover as much ground as possible. Storm and Blitzkrieg run across one another in the sky, and it's Blitzkrieg who strikes first, attempting to hold Storm back in an electric cage. Storm quickly disperses her elemental prison. Blitzkrieg pushes forward with his lightning attack, but Storm counters with all the powers of the storm and blows Blitzkrieg out of the sky. Captain America is swinging through the jungle like Tarzan when Shamrock swings before him, taking the next spine. As she swings back, Captain America reaches out to grab her, but Shamrock wriggles free. Shamrock just so happens to land where the undergrowth breaks her fall. Captain America comes swinging down behind her, but Shamrock takes off at a run. Suddenly, a large python appears and gets Captain America within his grasp. While walking through the jungle, Sasquatch meets up with the Collective Man. The Collective Man attacks, but is easily swatted away. He calls back the 5 to himself and approaches Sasquatch again. His attack does little as Sasquatch grabs him and holds him to the ground. The Collective Man reaches deep inside, drawing on the combined power of more than 10,000 of his countrymen, and the Sasquatch is blown backward. Unfortunately, the strain of such power makes the Collective Man pass out. By now, Captain America is dispatched to the snake, and Blitzkrieg reports in to state that he is yet to see the prize. The captain has Blitzkrieg keep looking while he returns to the treetops. Blitzkrieg creates an electrical storm about himself, which strips the jungle of its vegetation and reveals their prize. Captain America leaps through the trees towards the final wedge. But he's not lucky enough to reach it first as Shamrock swings in at the last moment to steal the prize. Final score, Grandmaster 2, Death 2. No, wait, hold on. The score in the last box is wrong. Shamrock was on Team Death. The Grandmaster was given an extra point. It says final score, Grandmaster 3, Death 1. What? Okay. Chapter 6. The heroes return with those holding the wedges located front and center. By the way, a nice cameo of Quasar in the front row of heroes. Things keep getting more weird. How much of Death's hood is covering her face? Death immediately acquiesces that 3 of the 4 pawns holding the globe pieces belong to the Grandmaster. No, we can look at these 2 pages side by side. Daredevil and the Thing have 2 on the Game Master's side, and Shamrock and the Arabian Knight have 2 on Death's side. No explanation given. So we just have to move on from here. The Grandmaster states, "You have played the game so valiantly. I salute you. As I promised you at the onset, your reward for your cooperation is that I shall neither use you nor any denizen of Earth in my games ever again." And it turns out that the grand prize that the Game Master wanted is the 4 pieces of the globe. Suddenly, Death chimes in. "That's right, Grandmaster. The power and the choice to use it will be yours." Suddenly, numerous mortals think that the robed lady still has some tricks up her sleeve. As the Grandmaster prepares to claim his prize, Talisman steps out of his body. He's enraged that giving somebody life without taking a life would cause a disruption to the natural order. He can't touch the hooded figure in his current form, so he uses the dream state to reach out to Susan Richards. He chooses her because she experienced this state with him previously in the Contest of Champions. He directs her towards the figure in the purple robe, and Sue reaches up to pull back the hood, and she's shocked to find Lady Death. The heroes are initially shocked at her presence. Death admits her part in the game, and Grandmaster is asked if he knew he was playing a game with Death, and he says of course. She's the only one who has the power to resurrect an immortal. Death finally hands out her twist. She tells the Grandmaster that the golden globe he holds needs a life to energize it. Not just any life, but one of equal value. The life of one elder for another elder. The Grandmaster calls her out for being a cheat, but Death insists that she never cheats, and that the entire universe must obey her rules. Death points out that he got what he came for. He has won the power to restore his brother to life, but only he can choose to pay the price. The Grandmaster claims that never in 1,000 games has he left the table before he felt the game was over. Death offers him one more bargain. Instead of sacrificing himself, he's given the choice to sacrifice all of the assembled heroes of Earth instead. Whew, that's a that's a big one. But the Grandmaster calls Death out and says that that's not part of their bargain. The Grandmaster is playing a much longer game at this point. The Grandmaster points out that he has agreed to never again use them or their world as pawns, and so the Grandmaster trades out his life for that of the Collector. The Collector is shocked to be alive once more and upset about the smoldering pile of ash that was the Grandmaster. The Collector threatens to force Death to restore the Grandmaster, but Death isn't afraid of the Collector's threats. Instead, she offers to play a game with the Collector. The Collector knows he's in for a hard bargain when he has to play by Death's rules, but the two depart together. As they leave, all the heroes of Earth are returned from whence they came. The orbiting arena disappears, and time on Earth moves forward once more. The Avengers return to the moment where they left off, but none of them feels like playing any more games. That's where Contest of Champions wraps up. The Grandmaster has sacrificed his life for that of his brother, the Collector, who probably needs to go back home and check in on his collection at this point. I'm still at a loss as to how the globe count was tallied, and as for the new characters, most of them continue to make sporadic appearances in Marvel to this day. And overall, this loss here, in the end, we'll see, was a calculated move on the Grandmaster's part, but we'll touch on that story in a future video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to hit any of the buttons below. I'm out.